A woman never belongs to you. It's just your turn. You lost your edge, she lost attraction for you. That's how it works. What'd you think she was gonna do? Tell you she cheated? Men cannot afford to get complacent in relationships. Get your fat ass off the couch, start lifting weights, and learn game. You're welcome.
And now your man,
Donovan Sharpe.
What's up, guys? It's your man, Donovan Sharpe, and welcome to the 713th edition of TSR Primetime, your nightly dose of toxic masculinity. It is Friday, February 12th of 2020, as I check my phone to make sure I'm getting the date right. Yes. I am aware of the fact that I accidentally hit the live button as I was eating my chocolate cake. Dev, the last half of my chocolate cake, I had no idea that I was live on the air. So I'm eating my chocolate cake, and I saw that I was streaming, and I was like, I didn't freak out. I was like, all right, we'll take it down and erase it. But yes, the chocolate cake was very, very good, as you guys could plainly see. One guy actually said that I'm starting a new channel where I'm doing videos of people watching me eat. Listen, man, these things happen. I was doing my testing, and these things happen. It is what it is. Hang on a second. Yeah, well, whatever. At any rate, it is good to have you guys in today. Congratulations to Janik L'Italian. I don't even think he realizes that I have modded him because he doesn't really chat that often, but congratulations to Janik L'Italian, TSR Tower's newest moderator. You guys know that I don't give out wrenches at random. I do not give out wrenches at random. I like to, I give them out sparingly. A lot of guys watch a lot of channels. Hey, give me a wrench. Anytime somebody comes in and they've been watching my show for 12 seconds and asks for a wrench, they're fucking gone. Get out of here, man. Get the hell out of here. Leon Everett's in the house. Good to see you in here. Ice Dragon Kid, JB84. Avid Hiker. Nixon Talks is in the house. Good to see you all. Daniel L. with the $5 super chat says, it's a shame you weren't singing the Kevin Samuels song again when you went live. Yeah, you know, one thing that I'm very careful about when I'm off the air is I always make sure my soundboard is completely muted and my camera cover is off. That way, if I inadvertently hit the live button, you guys are going to see anything or hear anything. Well, I was sitting here testing everything, and while I was eating a piece of chocolate cake, I hit the live button. So you guys didn't hear what I was saying. But at any rate, we are here and we are live. Today we're going to talk about the wall. We're going to talk about the denial of the existence of the wall. I will be opening up the phone lines a little bit later on. We're going to go through a few articles. We're going to go through a few articles that talk about the denial of the wall. And we're going to go ahead and start that right now. So let me go ahead and bring up the first article. Now, this is on Reddit. This is on 2X Chromosomes Reddit. And I'm a subscriber to 2X Chromosomes because you never know the absolute crazy, nonsensical dribble that comes out of there. I get their articles every day. I get their posts every day. It is absolutely effing hilarious. The links these women go to hamster their existence. So this one was posted 2 days ago by Bernie or Bust. I guess they're a Bernie Sanders advocate. And so I guess they went bust. Men don't age better, she says. They just aren't held to the same unrealistic standards of the aging that women are. Ay. She continues, skin conditioning has made wrinkles, saggy skin, and gray hair sexy on a man but disgusting on a woman. Let's stop right there. I'm sorry, I said skin. Did I say skin conditioning? Social conditioning. God, ay. You know what? Let's start that again. Social conditioning, she says, has made wrinkles, saggy skin, and gray hair on a man sexy, but disgusting on a woman. Let's stop right there. Social conditioning hasn't made wrinkles, saggy skin, and gray hair sexy on a man, but disgusting on a woman. That's called biology. Men the world over, regardless of race, class, socioeconomic status, etc., we find younger women more sexually attractive than older women. Younger women don't have wrinkles. Younger women don't have saggy skin. They have tight, supple skin. Younger women don't have gray hair. This is why wrinkles, saggy skin, and gray hair are disgusting on a woman. Now, let's just peel back the layers here. Okay. There are plenty of women, albeit very few relative to the total population of women. There are plenty of women who are in their 40s who are, dare I say, pretty hot, right? You take listen, man, you take a 46-year-old woman who takes care of herself. She lives in the gym, right? She may or may not have gotten breast implants. She's got a nice, flat, sexy stomach, got a nice, supple ass, got a nice, tight ass. Listen, she can pound any guy she wants. 46 years old. Again, they exist. A lot of them exist, but relative to the average 46-year-old, they're not that many of them. But these 46-year-old women don't have saggy skin and gray hair. They dye their hair, right? They get Botox for the wrinkles. Listen, some women age better than others. That's the truth. But that doesn't necessarily mean they're disgusting. Just because a woman is no longer as sexually attractive as she was when she was in her 20s, just because, let's call her the average 46-year-old, she may not be disgusting. She may not be as obviously she is not as sexually attractive as she was when she was 26. And we're talking about the average 46-year-old woman who probably has a drinking problem, probably smokes cigarettes, probably on antidepressants, probably isn't in the best shape in the world. But just because she's no longer as sexually attractive as she once was doesn't mean she's disgusting. So they're already now we're using apex fallacies. We're using hyperbole to drive the point home. But social conditioning has not made wrinkles, saggy skin, and gray hair disgusting on a woman. That's biology. Men are more sexually attracted to younger women. Younger women do not have wrinkles. They do not have saggy skin. They do not have gray hair. That's just the way of it. That's not social conditioning. This is our hard drive. This is the masculine firmware. We don't wake up and decide, you know what? I think I'm going to like 23-year-old women instead of 43-year-old women. No, this is just how it is. This is how it is. Listen, 23-year-old guys find 23-year-old women more sexually appealing than 43-year-old women. Now, this doesn't mean that there aren't 43, 44, 45, and 47-year-old women out there that aren't sexually appealing. Again, like I said, they are out there. They certainly have to work a little harder to maintain that sexual attraction, but if they're willing to put in the work, they can remain sexually attractive well into their 40s. Sometimes, dare I say, maybe into their 50s. Few and far between, it is possible. That's just how it is. Let's take a look on the other side of that. Social conditioning has made wrinkles, saggy skin, and gray hair sexy on a man. Now, here's the thing. Men and women, we age very differently, right? Men, we age much, much slower than women. Much slower. So men, when we get older, okay, yeah, listen, I have a few more wrinkles, I suppose, now at 43 than I was when I was 33, but not that many. Listen, man, I'll blow it up on the big screen. Look, you guys can look at me. I'm 43 years old, okay? I look fucking fantastic. I look great. Listen, man, I know I look good. I have aged very, very well. Yes, my genetics, my race, all has to do with it. But you want to know the biggest factor that has determined listen, there's no Botox here, guys. Okay? There's no Botox here. The reason why I look, what am I, 43? I probably look like I'm 35, 37 probably. I'm going to look like this probably for about the next 10 years. Why? It has nothing to do with social conditioning. It has to do with the fact that I'm a man. Men age slower. Now, Mother Nature intended it to be this way. Not consciously, but subconsciously. Because as men, what are we the most sexually attracted to? We are sexually attracted to youth and beauty. What are women sexually attracted to? What are women the most attracted to? Resources. And how can I put this? What engenders the possibility of resources in a man? Well, it's certainly not some young hotshot. Listen, if he's driving a Lamborghini and flying in private jets, I guess if he's 19 years old, okay, well, then that would make him attractive. But 5%ers, men who understand the real sexual dynamics, intersexual dynamics, shout out to Rolla Tomasi, between men and women, we understand that you can't lead with your wallet, right? We can't do that. So rather than walking around with a dollar sign, hey, I'm worth X amount of dollars, no, we dress a certain way, we look a certain way, right? So as a man who's a little bit older, men of a certain age, if we so happen to have resources, then guess what? The biggest indicator other than our possessions and our dress, maybe a little bit of wrinkle, maybe a little bit of salt and pepper in the beard, right? Wrinkles and gray hair on a man equals resources. That is attractive to women. Now, womanism has completely changed the sexual paradigm in terms of what women want. Women want resources, but because there is no imminent physical danger with women, because regardless of their sexual exploit, regardless of their sexual irresponsibility, a woman could have 5-6 kids and still be taken care of. Women know that regardless of what happens, they're going to be taken care of by the government and or other people. Well, guess what? Women now tend to prioritize physical genes rather than resourceful genes. This is just how it is. Womanism did that. If not for womanism, then women would not prioritize physical. Well, not that they wouldn't prioritize, because listen, a woman sees a good-looking man, she's going to see that he's a good-looking man. But back in the day, they see a good-looking guy and they think, you know what, he's a good-looking guy, but what kind of education does he have? What kind of job does he have? Women could not care less about any of that stuff. Today, at least, they don't before the age of 35. After 35, they prioritize resourceful genes because men with the superior physical genes no longer want to mess with them anymore. This is just how this is. Regardless of a woman's age, guess what? Wrinkles and gray hair. Guys, guess what? That connotes resources. I get far more sexual attention now at the age of 43 than I ever did when I was 23. And it's not close. It's not close. Dude, Devin and I went and shopped for groceries. One such grocery item was a slice of chocolate cake, which you guys saw me eating on the air. Not so nonchalantly about an hour ago. And I could see and feel the eyes. Dude, older women were looking at me. The lady that was manning the self-checkout, she checked me out as soon as I walked into the store. Had younger women looking at me. Why? Not because I'm some young punk hotshot and I'm wearing this shirt. I've got my Apple Watch, right? I've got on sweatpants and some flip-flops, right? The reason they're looking at me is, number one, I present myself very well. I smell very good. I'm wearing Blue de Chanel. They can smell me a mile away. Number two, I'm with an attractive woman. So they say, oh, okay, this guy has an attractive woman, so he must be attractive. He might have a 13-inch sausage, and they're wrong. My sausage is 23.5 inches. I measured this morning. But they see the gray hair. They see the wrinkles. Yes, they see the tattoos and all that arouses them, but what they see is potential resources. This is why men of a certain age are more attractive when we look a little bit older. And get this, women can't have it both ways. Women can't have it both ways. Mother Nature subconsciously, Mother Nature said this. Okay. We want women, I want women, said Mother Nature, to be able to bear the biggest and most healthy babies. But dad's got to be around to take care of her. Dad's got to be around to take care of her, because if she raises her on her own, her daughters are going to be on the pills, the pole, or both. Her son's going to be confused as to whether or not he wants to be a Reggie Jackson or a Roberto Alomar. Or he just might decide he wants to be a Lenny Dykstra. Yeah, Lenny Dykstra's a criminal. You guys can read between the lines there. Right? So Mother Nature said, okay, we're going to give women absolute power over men for the better part of a decade. From the ages of 18, probably a little sooner than that, from the ages of 18 to 25 to 28, she's going to be irresistible to persons of the opposite sex. They're going to want to be with her so badly. They're going to want to be with her so badly, they're going to marry her. They're going to take care of her. They're going to take care of her kids. Well, what's the best way to get young women to seek out the right resources, make them sexually attractive to everybody? Right? So Mother Nature gives them absolute power for a decade, sometimes even a little longer than that. For 10 plus years, any given decent looking woman can have quite literally any man she wants. Short term, long term, or otherwise. 10 plus years. You can't then turn around and complain that you don't still have the same gravitational pull at 37 than you did at 27. You see, the bill at some point has to come due. And this is the main difference between a man's sexual arc and a woman's sexual arc. Let me explain. It's very simple. Women collect on the front end, okay? And if they collect correctly, they don't have to pay on the back end. In other words, if a woman marries young, settles down, has a family, gets married at 18, 19, 20, 21 years old, guess what? 20 years from now, she's probably still with her husband. She got a couple of kids, getting ready to go off to college. She's living a life befitting of a young, pretty woman. However, if she makes bad choices, has a couple of bastard kids, maybe 6, let's call it 2 or 3. She has a couple of bastard kids, guess what? It's all fun and games. She's still getting ran through because she's still young and hot, but then on the back end, you got to pay that price. See, women have an opportunity to never have to pay the price. All they have to do is keep it on the road. And I say this all the time. All a woman has to do, all a woman, below average looking woman, don't get fat, don't start smoking, don't get any piercings outside of one hole in each ear, don't get a tattoo, don't lose your virginity. You do those 5 things, you have literally hit the lottery. That's it. Any man the world over of all net worths will move mountains, will move heaven and earth to secure the commitment of that female. That's it. She doesn't have to pay the price. She doesn't have to go through strife and pain. She doesn't have to go through heartbreak because she's a virgin. She literally hits the lottery. 18-year-old girl just out of high school. She doesn't get fat, no piercings, no tattoos. She doesn't smoke. Her hymen hasn't been popped yet. Right? 33, 34-year-old man recognizes her for what she is, locks her down. Boom, that's it. He marries her, takes her right off the market, puts a couple of babies in her. That's that. That's that. She never has to. Don't get me wrong. This doesn't mean that she's going to be completely devoid of pain and strife. Who knows? Maybe husband has an affair. Maybe he doesn't. Either way, the price she has to pay on the back end pales in comparison to the other side. Men, we always have to pay. Let me explain. Women, if they play their cards right, they never have to pay. Men, we always have to pay. You see, we as men, we get our payment, we get our absolute power on the back end. Women get their absolute power on the front end without having to do anything. They get it on the front end without doing anything otherwise impressive, having to learn, do, be anything. Keep it on the road. You get 10 to 12 to 13, you get 10 to 15 years of absolute power over men. We don't have absolute power over women until we are well into our 30s. You see, when we're 16, 17, 18 years old, we don't get the luxury of being able to get locked down and never have to experience the pain of heartbreak and rejection. Oh, no. Nope. Not us. At 16, 17, 18 years old, we've got pimples on our face. We're kind of scrawny. Okay, so we might shag a few girls here and there, but they're not sticking around. Right? You're a 21-year-old guy. You're banging a 19-year-old girl. She's having fun with you, but she knows she's not going to end up with you. She's got her eye on that. She's got her eye on the kid, on the dude who's 32, who's about to graduate law school. That's who she's got her eye on. Rightfully so. Because that guy who's in law school has been where that 21-year-old is. He's been gangly. He's been awkward. So that 21-year-old is going to get his heart broken by that 19-year-old is going to leave him for the now 35-year-old lawyer who has his own private practice now. This is how this works. All through our 20s, we pay that price again and again and again. We get played. We get rejected. We get used. We get hurt. We get our heart broken. We fight all of these battles. We get our asses kicked, literally and figuratively. We get laughed at, humiliated. All of these things happen to us. That's the price we pay. And if we're smart, meaning we wore condoms every time we smash, meaning we don't have any, I'm sure a few of us have illegitimate kids, but if we don't know about them, it is what it is. I'm not on the books for child support. If you manage to reach the age of, say, 32 to 33 years old without any child support, guess what? Now you've hit the lottery. Now you've hit the lottery. On July the 1st of 2010, I landed in Las Vegas, Nevada, having no idea that my life would be forever changed. The reason why I am where I am now is because I paid that price. You guys know those stories. Carla, Amy, Darcy, and Susie, the Fantastic Four, as I referred to them at a conference I spoke at a while back. But outside of those four, guys, I've had my heart broken countless times. That's the price I paid. I had to learn how to fight. I had to learn finances. Dude, I've blown money. I've blown money. I've been broke. All of those things I had to pay the price to be where I am now. And now I go to the grocery store dressed in sweatpants, and I'm getting eyes glued to me all over the place. I had to pay the price. Now I'm reaping the benefits on the back end. Women, they want to reap the benefits on the front end and the back end. No, slut. No, bitch. Social conditioning is not the reason why wrinkles, saggy skin, and gray hair is disgusting on a woman. You are. You didn't watch your diet. You didn't keep your body tight. You didn't stop smoking. You didn't stop drinking. You are responsible for your station in life, just like I am. So the main difference between men and women in this regard, I'll say it again, women have the opportunity never to have to pay that price, never to have to go through strife. Men, we always have to pay that price. Women can cash out early and ride off into the sunset. Men, we don't get that luxury. You know what? I wouldn't have it any other way. Men, I've had my heart broken more times than I care to admit. It is what it is. That's why I'm the man I am today. I've probably been in 30 fights in my life. I have won all but 3 of them. Straight up, I still have all my teeth. The moneymaker is still intact. Can't say the same about the dudes that I pummeled into the ground. I may or may not have been prosecuted for some of those on an aggravated level. But the point is I had to fight those battles, man. I've made big money before when I was young. I spent it on dumb shit, spent myself all the way into being broke, credit card smoking, all that stuff. Had to fight my way out of it. Had to learn how to manage money. I paid that price. That's why I am where I am today. So ladies, you guys reap your benefits early, pay the price late if you don't play your cards right. But if you play your cards right, you never have to pay that price. Men, we pay the price regardless. And if we play our cards right, as in don't have any kids or don't get slapped with child support, that's pretty much the only thing that can really set a man back. Because, guys, I'm a 4-time convicted felon. You would think that my life would be over. No, my life is awesome. But the reason why, there are guys out here with no criminal records whatsoever. They got 3 kids they're paying child support on. Their life is shitty. Convicted felon. Convicted felon. 4 times over. Life is fucking awesome. Why? Because I don't have any kids that I know of. Ladies, don't get fat. Don't get any piercings outside of 1 hole in each ear. Don't get tattoos. Don't start smoking. Do not lose your virginity to anyone other than your husband. You're golden. Men, don't have any kids. Don't have any illegitimate kids. You've got the golden ticket. So now we come full circle to social conditioning. No, sweet cheeks. You don't get to complain about the fact that we as men are sexy when we have wrinkles and gray hair because we've paid our price. And biologically, societally, people know this. Man, he looks good. He's sexy. Yeah, the wrinkles and the gray hair, those are battle scars. That's what makes a man a man. That guy with a few wrinkles, some salt and pepper beard, that guy's fought some battles. That guy's had his heart broken. That guy knows how to handle women. That guy knows how to handle money. That guy's kicking life's ass. That guy is attractive. A woman with wrinkles, saggy skin, and gray hair, she's been rode hard and put away wet. She continues, I was watching Grace and Frankie, and I noticed that on a show about older women, the titular characters have wrinkles airbrushed while their male co-stars are allowed to exist as wrinkly old dudes. In other words, men are allowed to look 70 plus, but women must look 25 forever. That's false. That's false. No man expects a woman to live to look 25 forever, but it's interesting that she says women must look 25 forever. You want to know what mindset that is? That's the slut mindset. The reason why she feels like she has to look 25 forever is because she wants to keep sleeping around forever. Well, if you're married, your husband expects you to keep your body up. But listen, Devin turned 37 yesterday. I don't expect her to look like a 25-year-old. That's ridiculous. I expect her to remain sexually attractive to me. If she does not, then I will trade her in for a 25-year-old. That's how that works. But women must look 25-year-old forever. Listen, that's the mindset of a 304. That's the whole mindset. What are you trying to look 25 forever for? So you can have that endless dick buffet, just like you did when you were 18 to 28 years old. The body positivity movement, she continues, absolutely needs to include wrinkles, gray hair, and saggy skin on female models because if they aren't wrong on a man, they aren't wrong on a woman. And herein lies more of the problem. Women expecting to remain sexually attractive during the years that men are sexually attractive. Bitch, you had 10 years. You had 10 years. Your run is over. You don't get to be sexually attractive young and old. The reason why men get to be sexually attractive young and old is because we're men. We get rejected. What do, guys? We pay that price. Women want all the benefits without paying the price. They got all the benefits when they were 18 to 28, but because they played their cards wrong and now nobody wants them. Oh, well, the body positivity movement needs to include wrinkles, gray hair, and saggy skin. Listen, I advocate for that too. Listen, let's include wrinkles, gray hair, and saggy skin in the body positivity movement. That doesn't mean shit. That doesn't mean anything. You can include whatever you want to in the body positivity movement. Men are going to be attracted to what men are attracted to, and that's all there is to it. That's all there is to it. Let's move to the next article or subreddit post. As a 23-year-old woman, maybe, posted, I am realizing I put immense pressure on myself to be physically attractive as possible. This leads to very toxic thinking and a feeling of competition with other women. Does anyone have some enlightenment on how to change this mindset? Translation: how can I reprogram my mind to rightfully have competition anxiety to compete for the highest value men, rewire my brain to be lazy? Basically, what the title says, she says, I feel like whether I feel attractive can make or break my day. I hate when I get jealousy, and competition when I hear one of my male friends call someone else attractive. I hate that because these are my instinctual reasons and I desperately want to change my mindset. How about changing your body, sweetheart? How about that? How about changing your body? No, you don't need to change your mindset, sweetheart. You need to change your body. I desperately want to change my mindset. It makes me so critical of myself and others. So basically, what she is trying to say here is that as a 23-year-old woman, she's realizing she puts pressure to be physically attractive as possible. So she's gaining weight, she's gotten fat, and she's realizing that she's probably going to hit the wall a little bit early. Now she's getting competition anxiety. Let me let you guys in on a little secret, and this is why the sexual marketplace is an absolute shit show. When women compete for men, women are well behaved. When women compete for men, women are well behaved. Women who are in competition for men are well behaved. They're thin, they're feminine, they're kind, they have a nice disposition, they stay in pocket, they're not disrespectful. The list goes on and on. When women act best when they are in competition for men. Let's flip that around. When men compete for women, women are insufferable. They get fat. They get tattoos. They become rude. They become entitled. They walk around this my bleep doesn't stink attitude. They become, intolerable. Why is that? Well, because women don't have incentive to be good for men. This is just how this is. This is basic economics. This is the law of supply and demand, right? When women compete for men, they're well behaved because, they have to be because they want to get picked. But when men compete for women, women don't have any reason to act right. Well, this 23-year-old woman, understanding what's going on, she's like, listen, man, I'm a fat ass. And my instincts are telling me you should compete because you need a man. I want to reprogram myself so I don't have to have competition anxiety. I want to reprogram my mind to not feel bad about the fact that I'm a fat 23-year-old. I want to reprogram my mind to make it okay to be lazy. Let's move to the next thing. Science news. Women do get better with age. From the academic powerhouse of Florida State University, researchers have found that younger women's concerns about wrinkles and deteriorating health cause them to have lower emotional well-being than those women who've passed the so-called midlife crisis phase. I got news for you. I'd rather date a young, hot girl with lower emotional well-being than date an old maid who's emotionally strong. Once again, they're trying to tell us, they're trying to fool us into thinking that we as men, we value things other than looks. And we do, but guess what? Looks come first. A woman could be pleasant, she could be feminine, she could know how to cook, she could know how to charm, your parents. She could be all of these great things. If we do not want to shag her, we are not interested. We will never find out. She could be a wonderful woman, She really and truly could have a kind disposition, a great personality. She really could be, she could be a good woman. But if she's overweight, we ain't interested. Even below average looking women, if they're in decent shape, we'll give her a look-see. A Florida State University researcher has found that younger women's concerns about wrinkles and deteriorating health cause them to have lower emotional well-being than those who've passed the so-called midlife crisis phase. Ann Barrett, sociology professor and director at FSU's Pepper Institute on Aging and Public Policy, oh my God, found that younger women's anxieties about the declines in health and attractiveness degrade their emotional well-being, while older women's maintenance and increasingly youthful identities as they age enhances their well-being. Again, I'm sure it does enhance their well-being, but guess what? A youthful identity does not make a youthful individual. Men, we value physical, sexual attractiveness. All of this psychobabble is not, listen, if she told us, hey, listen, older women that are more emotionally mature and all this other kind of stuff, all of a sudden they're finding themselves in 22-year-old bodies. Hey, you know what? I'm all for the research. Give them that grant. I want to learn more. Where are these women? Dude, a 22-year-old woman with a 45-year-old's brain, where is she at? I'll kick my girl out of this place right now. Go get me one of those. The study, quote, explaining age differences in women's emotional well-being, the role of subjective experiences of aging, will be published in the Journal of Women and Aging in December. Our society's marginalization of older women can have consequences for women across adulthood, Barrett said. It can erode their emotional well-being long before they reach their old age. Barrett and research partner Erica Toothman, wow, never heard that last name before, an instructor in the sociology department at the University of South Florida, examined the role of 5 components of the subjective experience of aging and accounting of age differences in women's emotional well-being, age identity, conceptions of the timing of middle age, aging attitudes, aging anxieties, and self-assessed physiological changes. Of those 5, the study found age identity and aging anxieties played the largest role in accounting for younger women's lower emotional well-being than that of an older woman's. Again, guys, this doesn't matter. This doesn't make a woman younger and hotter. Having better emotional well-being does not make a woman younger and hotter. Sorry. The younger women had greater anxiety about aging, particularly as it related to declines in health and attractiveness. It points to the relevance of ageism to all of us across our lives, Barrett said. It also highlights the need for visibility and positive representations of older women across all domains of life in the media and politics and other arenas. This woman doesn't give a damn about representations of older women across all domains of life, media, politics, and other arenas. No, what they're talking about is positive representations of older women sexually. That's all this is. Listen, there are positive representations of women in the media, politics, and in every arena, except for sexuality. And that's what they're mad about. Dude, we have female senators, we have female CEOs, we have females running the world. We see them on TV all the time. No, they don't want, and it's so funny. This is how hypocritical they are. They get all of the credit and all of the accolades for everything older women do. Yes, older women are wiser. They're better with money. They're actually better company. But guess what? Those aren't the accolades they want. Those aren't the representations they want. They're getting those representations. No, what they want is representation in the sexual arena. They want to be recognized sexually by sexually attractive men. Not going to happen, old mate. Not going to happen, sweetie. Sorry. Like, we see right through that. Positive representations in all domains of life. No, women get positive representation in all domains of life except the sexual one. That's the one they want. The article continues, researchers also found that middle-aged women and older women engaged in a strategy that enhanced their own emotional well-being. They maintain youthful perceptions of themselves. In fact, these views become more age discrepant as they grow older, For instance, if you ask a 45-year-old woman how she feels, she might say 40. And if you ask a 75-year-old the same question, she might say 65. Oh, well, in that case, we should all just start banging 65-year-olds. Hey, Ethel, Ruby, Darlene, Mildred. I know you guys are 86, 85, and 74 respectively, but how do you feel? Well, I feel like I'm 25. Well, Ethel, guess what? It's time for us to get down. Anybody got a room? 84-year-old Ethel here says she feels 25 years old. Well, hell, that must mean she feels, looks, and smells like a 25-year-old woman. Yeah, that's bullshit. That's BS. Get out of here with that. Are you serious? Because a 45-year-old woman says she feels 40, we're supposed to be more sexually attracted to her? No! Just because she says she feels 40 doesn't mean she looks or feels 40. 75, ooh, 60. Oh, well, in that case, let's just get out of here with this. Researchers used the National Survey of Midlife Development in the United States to conduct their research. More than 3,000 people nationwide between the ages of 25 and 74 were given an extensive questionnaire covering the areas of social responsibility, psychological well-being, and physical health. The group was surveyed twice. First in 95-96, then again 10 years later between 04 and 06. It says, quote, "We focus on women because their decline in status as they age is steeper than men's. For example, they face age discrimination in the workplace and feel more pressure to mask the signs of aging. This double standard of aging pointed us to a novel explanation of older women's better emotional well-being compared with younger women." So they're trying to say, because we have better emotional well-being than younger women, we are more sexually attractive than younger women. They know this isn't true. I forget which law it is. I need to memorize these laws because I wrote the book. The more they try to convince you of something, the more the opposite is true. These women are reaching, man. These women are reaching. We focus on women's because their decline in status as they age is steeper than men's? No, that's not what she means. She doesn't mean they decline in status. No, let's read that. Let's use the womanese translator. We focus on women because their decline in sexuality as they age is steeper than men's. Ergo, men age better than women. What are we doing? Who are we trying to fool here? Like, what are we doing? They decline in status? No, they decline in sexuality. This entire article is one big masquerade. They're trying to make us think that, well, women face ageism in the workplace and in other areas, and we need to have positive representation of older women in all areas of life. No, that's not what this article is about. This article is yet another way of saying men should be sexually attracted to older women. That's it. That's it. It's not going to happen. I'm going to open up the phone lines here shortly. Oh, this is a riot. This is a riot. 5 reasons women get better with age. Well, look at this. An above average looking 50-year-old with silver hair. They're no longer calling it gray hair, guys. They're calling it silver hair. Obviously, this picture has been photoshopped. She has Botox, as she has not a single wrinkle in her forehead. Written on the Huffington Post. Looks like 7 years ago, roundabout. To women of a certain age, the article starts, as a clinical psychologist and observer, the increase in size, of people of all ages, I have a lot to say about why growing older can be a wonderful thing for women. This was obviously written by a woman. You can see there at the top left-hand corner is written by a woman. This seems odd at first glance because women associate growing older with loss of attraction and lost opportunities. Yes, women correctly associate growing older with loss of attractiveness. Women know that the older they get, the less attractive they are. They don't understand this. In my life's work as a perpetual people watcher, I would like to explore the other side of growing older. I want to tell you about all of the delightful things that you have to look forward to as you move through your 30s, 40s, and 50s. Number one, smarter relationships, she says. Throughout your life, you pick up on patterns and with time begin to know what to expect. So for example, if you have a few decades worth of dating experience, you are likely to choose more appropriate partners because you pick up on negative qualities more quickly. Let's read that through the lens of womanese. Throughout your life, you pick up on patterns, and with time, you begin to know what to expect. So for example, if you've ridden the carousel for a few decades, you're much more likely to choose more appropriate partners because you know what it's like. You know what it's like to be rode hard, put away wet, and ran through because you pick up on these negative qualities more quickly, having been used and abused by more players than you care to admit. Let's continue. And perhaps you will also have the opportunity to end relationships earlier and before you get too invested because you know from experience where this type of relationship is likely to lead. Okay, so you're still getting into relationships with bad boys, but now you have the ability to end them more quickly because before you get too invested. So you're putting more mileage on your peace leave, but better relationships, smarter relationships. Listen, we're still going to bang the bad boys, but we're going to hit the eject button a little bit sooner because we know how these will end. Perhaps you have been through a failed marriage or two. I have seen women move from marriage one or two to successful subsequent marriages because they've learned what works and what does not. Bullshit. It's ridiculous. Number two, and I promise I'm going to open up the phone lines. I know you guys are chomping at the bit here. Number two, you know your body and how to dress it. Let's face it, after you've taken yourself and your own unique and special body on countless shopping trips for more than a couple of decades, you know what looks good on you and what doesn't. Translation, let's face it, after you've gained weight over the years, you know what to shop for to hide your extra body weight. You know what looks good on you and what makes you look disgusting. You stop trying to buy that type of blouse that just doesn't work for you, even though you want it when it's on the rack. Translation, you stop buying the type of blouse that used to look good on you in your 20s that just doesn't work for you in your 30s, even though you want it when it's on another woman's rack. You know what ends up sitting in your closet unused just as well as you know what type of items will be your go-to items on most days. Shopping trips are quicker and less confusing. You've most likely identified the jeans that fit you best and the type of shoes that will allow you to walk through the day comfortably. Wow. Translation. You are now in plus-size jeans and you no longer wear high heels because your cankles will no longer support them. Number three, a smaller and better, this is my show, Dev, pipe down. Number three, a smaller and better group of friends. As we age, we weed out friends who don't add to our lives. The reliable friends who are attuned to you remain with you, while those who drain you and compete with you have been moved out. Hey, smart women realize that their time is precious and that they can't be too generous with it. They also get that there may not be much benefit to being a part of an exclusive clique, and they are open to being friends with others who may be much younger or much older. Women thrive when they have mentors and role models. Conversely, they thrive from being a necessary mentor to younger women. There's actually a kernel of truth in this. Women are competitive and they are catty. But the women that they've weeded out that they no longer want or add to their lives, these are the women who are what class? Married. We weed these women out because they no longer add to our lives because they're married and we're jealous. They don't want to be a part of an exclusive clique because they really can't be, right? Yes, women do thrive when they have mentors and role models, but you have to have the right mentors. Number 4, you know how to really relax. It continues, you know at this point what is likely to help you relax and what is intended to make you relax but doesn't, never has, never will. Perhaps a cup of tea in a magazine may be your literal and figurative cup of tea, while a brisk walk and pedicure may make your friend's day. Women start to know what makes them tick and what makes them talk. And number 5, anxiety decreases. Oh boy. Oh boy. Yes, she says this is true. She lies. As women get older, they still worry about the most important things like relationships and their children, but they are more likely to let the little things go. Let me just stop right there. An unmarried female at the age of 39 years old, her anxiety is through the roof. This is why most women are on antidepressants, guys. This is why they're on anti-anxiety medications. Gorging themselves on the endless eggplant emoji buffet, that wrecks them spiritually, physically, financially, emotionally. And now you don't have a man, and this bitch wants us to think that as they get older, their anxiety decreases? Give me a break. She keeps it real. As women get older, they still worry about the most important things like relationships and their children. You see how she did that? As if these women that are older have relationships and children. No, this article isn't written for women who are married with children. Women who are married with children, the older they get, their anxiety decreases because they're married with children. No, she's talking to all my single ladies out there. You see how she melded the words like that? See how she did that? Well, this is true. We still worry about the most important things like relationships and children. That's the fucking point. This is why your anxiety increases, because you are 39, you have no relationships and no children. Of course you have to let the little things go. You're single and unmarried, no kids. They have learned that worrying is a waste. It doesn't stop bad things from happening because good and bad things will inevitably happen, whether anticipated with anxiety or not. I plan to add more items to this list. I'm just getting started. I would love to hear from women of all ages. What has gotten better for you as you have gotten older? Of course, Gina Carano is in the news. Last but certainly not least, as I'm going to open up the phone lines here very shortly, it's a fact. Cheryl Crutchley of the University of Melbourne says women get better with age. New research finds that postmenopausal women become happier as they get older. Growing older has its benefits, for women at least. So she's trying to make us think that getting older has its benefits only for women. Ay, ay, ay. Rather than becoming moodier as they age, new research has found that many women get happier in life, particularly 20 years from 50 years through 70. Oh boy. Just because it says that they've found many women that get happier in life, that doesn't mean anything. Okay? This is exactly the same as black women saying, well, there are more white girls on welfare than black women. More white girls commit paternity fraud than black women. More white women cheat than black women. Guess what? They are 100% correct. 3-4-3. White girls do cheat more than black women. Yes, there are more white single mothers than black single mothers. Yes, there are more white women on welfare than black women. Here's the rub. There are more white women than black women. Of course the numbers are going to be skewed. But when you start to talk about percentages, that's where the rubber meets the road. A larger percentage of black women are on welfare than white women. A larger percentage of black women are baby mamas than white women. Oh, dude, that's not even close. So you can hit me with all this, well, there are more and there are many. That means jack shit. And for this woman to mislead women by saying many women get happier later in life, that is misleading. That's a lie. That is a statistical lie. Yes, I'm sure that there are many women that do get happier with age. But what's the percentage in terms of women that don't get happier with age? The University of Melbourne study found that both negative mood and depressive symptoms decreased significantly over that time and across the years after menopause. Maybe it has something to do with the fact that they're like, you know what? I'm 50 years old. I'm 60, 65 years old. I've never been married, never had a man. There's no hope for me. And at that point, they just give up. That doesn't mean they're not still depressed about it. Until now, there has been little longitudinal research into depressive symptoms and negative mood as a specific measure, and the research can be affected by bias as those with lower mood drop over time. But this study, published in Muritas, a scientific journal focusing on midlife health crisis and beyond, followed women for 20 years from the early 1990s. The research was carried out by University of Melbourne psychologist Miss Catherine Campbell, psychiatrist Professor Lorraine Dennerstein, neurologist Professor Cassandra Soki, and Monash University's Mark Tracy, combining input from the University of Melbourne psychiatry, psychology, and neurology departments, and the Melbourne Epicenter, a collaboration between the University of Melbourne, Melbourne Health, and Royal Melbourne Hospital. It found that negative mood scores in Australian women decreased significantly as they transition from midlife between the ages of 50 to 64 to late life over the age of 65. Depressive symptoms scores also reduced significantly between the ages of 60 and 70. For many women, this appears to be related to the positivity around more me time as they wind down from full-time work and family responsibilities. That's as much as I'm going to read there. You want to know why? Because when women first see this article, Women Get Better with Age, and they see this woman on a boat, they see her by herself. You know what this connotes? You know what this engenders? This says, oh, women who are single do get better with age. Then buried about halfway through, it says the results are comforting for women who may assume their mood will dip as their senior years. It may, in reality, may enjoy more life, possibly due to easing work and family responsibilities. Women possibly do get better with age when they are married with children, not when they're single. I don't see one man in this article. Look, it's as though these women are like, hey, we're spinsters for life and we're happy. No, you're not. I don't see, look at this. Not one, listen, the title and the pictures are telling women subliminally that, hey, it's okay to sport fuck your way through your 20s. You're going to end up happy just like these lucky ladies. Not one wedding ring. Look, not one. I don't see any rings on any fingers. There's no ring on her finger. These women appear to be sisters, I guess, maybe more than sisters. This woman is on a boat by herself. This says to women that, you know what? I don't have to be in a relationship. I can be a spinster. I can be single my whole life. I can be single my entire life and still end up happy. And women, one by one, are starting to figure out that this was 100% bullshit. All right, let us go to the... Let's go to the super chats. I'm going to open up the lines here very, very shortly so that you guys can chime in. Devin and I are going to go and we're going to do some gambling at quite a seedy establishment. It's a casino that I used to go to hang out with my small Reno crew way back in the day. It's the kind of casino you probably shouldn't eat at, but you probably do anyway. We'll probably just stick to the fries and the nachos. We're not gonna get. Listen, we're not gonna get the steak and lobster special for $6.99. Not gonna happen. No thanks. I don't need food poisoning today. So. Ed Lattimore is in the house with the $10 super chat. Says, being a black man in shape, good health, and a full hairline, I paid for to beat those pesky genetics. Yes, shout out to Ed, by the way. No hair plugs for me yet. The people at the gym thought I was in my mid-20s. I'm turning 36 on Monday. Ed Lattimore looks spectacular for his age. He looks absolutely spectacular. Honestly, he looks like he's 28 years old. He looks fantastic. Ed ages well, yes, because he's black and hashtag black don't crack, but because he's a man. Men age better than women. Sheldon Ross, $5, says, love the show, paying my tuition. Appreciate that. Sentinel Rex, $5, says, get him, Don. You hit them with the truth, you sly dog. Of course. Fred Ward, 2092, $5. Decent actor, has a very good tan. James Young, $5, says, is it me or did I walk into the middle of an article of delusion? No, you absolutely walked into the middle of an article of delusion. Appreciate that very, very much. We are going to open up the phone lines. We're going to open up the phone lines. I want to know what your thoughts are on the wall. 516-387-1987 is the number to call if you want to get in on the discussion. The phone lines are open now. We're going to take a 10-minute break so that we can screen the phone calls. The phone lines are open. Give me a second. The phone lines are open right now. 516-387-1987. If you want to get in on the discussion, we'll talk to you in 10. Get in now. Here we go. All right. I'm going to go ahead and get things started. We got a few people on the line. We got Lewis in Miami. You're up first. Red Pill Mike, you're going to be second. Chris in New Mexico, you're going to be third. And we've got Gerald in Calgary, who's going to hit cleanup for us. So let us first go to Lewis in Miami. Now, Lewis, Lewis in Miami, you want to talk about the fact that you agree that women hit the wall, but you also agree that men hit the wall too. Explain what you mean, Lewis.
In general, I see all of society being fucked up. I agree that women hit the wall harder because they have like more like DPD psychological problems early on. But I think everybody, because of the poor nutrition, it's not even about race. I keep hearing you saying that blacks are superior or some shit. That's horseshit.
Okay, hold on. Lewis. Don't talk over me. I'm not going to let you get past that. I did not say that blacks were superior. I said we had superior genetics.
No, you don't.
Look at our sports league, Lewis.
All right.
Look at our sports leagues, Lewis. Let me ask you something, Lewis. Can you name
Lewis?
Hold, listen. Lewis. I'll let you talk if you let me talk. Okay? We're both men. We can debate like men. I like you. You like me. You watch my show. It's all good. We can do this with respect. So you say no, they don't. My argument to you in terms of black genetics is look at our professional sports leagues. Professional athletes are the greatest athletes in the world, and they are consistently dominated by African Americans. What say you?
Right. No, here's the thing. Blacks in general in society, they eat more naturally and live more naturally than Europeans. Europeans are indoors being nerds. They make more money and do this, but because of their poor nutrition and their lifestyle, they get these results. I know this because I studied nutrition for years, and I understand. So the level of nutrition that I understand is on a God level. Now that I understand these things, but yeah, sure, I'll admit blacks have a certain gene but that was caused by environmental pressures in Africa. It has nothing to do with them being superior.
No, hold on, Lewis. I let you talk. Now you're gonna let me talk. I didn't say they were superior. I said blacks have superior genetics. Genetics, Lewis, I don't know if you notice this, has nothing to do with nutrition. We're talking genetics, the way you're made, the double helix, DNA, deoxyribonucleic acid. It has. Hold on. Lewis, I let you talk. Now you're going to let me talk. If you interrupt me one more time, I'm going to let you go. Now, this is a good debate, and I think we can both learn something here. But you just equated nutrition with genetics. Nutrition has positively nothing to do with genetics. Nothing. Now, nutrition can certainly extend a player's career, but let's look at a quarterback, Tom Brady. Tom Brady is not physically gifted. He's not the biggest. He's not the fastest. He's not the strongest. He doesn't have the best arm, yet he's won 7 Super Bowls. A big reason why he's won 7 Super Bowls is because of his longevity. That is what nutrition can get you. But in terms of raw physical genetics, African Americans have superior physical genetics than any other race on the planet. Do you know who won the last World Cup, Lewis? No, you probably don't. It was Team France. Guess what? Team France's team, more than half of their team made up of black people. I'll give you the last word on genetics, and then we can talk about the wall.
Okay. No, I'll admit that. Like I said, they're more agile genetically because of
you just made my point, Lewis. Listen, Lewis, you just made my point. Listen, you just made my point. I said blacks are superior. No, but
that's literally the only advantage.
Say what?
That's literally the only difference. Height and looks have nothing to do with genetics.
Okay, Lewis. I didn't say anything about height and looks, okay? Listen, Nick Van Exel, he's one of the ugliest players in NBA history. Guess what? Superior genetics. I'm not talking about height and looks. I'm talking about raw physical genetics. Black people have better genetics than We have the best physical genetics. Dude, how many heavyweight champions are black? Just about all of them. Joe Louis, Muhammad Ali, Mike Tyson, Lennox Lewis. The list goes on and on. How many Mr. Olympias have we had that are African American? Lee Haney, Sean Roden, Phil Heath, Ronnie Coleman.
All of those.
Lewis, I'm talking now. 32 of the last 37 Mr. Olympians have been African American. Baseball, a sport which is comprised historically of 8% of African Americans, 4 of the top 6 home run hitters, African American. Barry Bonds, Ken Griffey Jr., who's Willie Mays, and who's the fourth guy? Did I get it? Oh, either way, there is no argument here, Lewis. We're not talking about looks, money, and status. I'm not talking about any of that stuff. I'm not talking about nutrition. I'm talking about genetics. Man for man, the average black man is physically more athletic, has superior physical athletic genetics than any other race. This is not an opinion, these are facts. Now, let's talk about the wall. You said that men also hit the wall as well. What age do you believe men hit the wall?
Physically and attraction-wise?
Yeah.
I think they hit it supposedly at 35 as well.
You said no. Hold on, Lewis. Lewis. I asked you what you think. I don't want to know what supposedly. What does Lewis in Miami think? What age does Lewis in Miami believe that men hit the physical attraction wall?
A physical attraction at 35.
Okay. And how much research have you looked around at the average 35-year-old?
Yeah, actually, most of them, pretty much all of them got gray hairs popping up.
I didn't ask about. Wait a minute, hold on, Lewis. I didn't ask about gray hair. I asked about physical attractiveness. So you're telling me that. Now, let me ask you this, because I don't want to go off the beaten path. I don't want to change subjects here. So, do you think that the average 35-year-old woman is as sexually attractive to the opposite sex as a 35-year-old man? Do you believe that?
No, a woman hit the wall horrendously bad.
Well, Lewis, that's my point. Listen, man, men, we don't hit the attraction wall until much later. As a matter of fact, we don't really hit our physical stride in terms of sexual attraction to the opposite sex until we're 32. Granted, when we're 18, 19, we are sexually attractive to younger women, sometimes even older women. But when we're 32, 33, 35, that's when the real party begins. How old are you, Lewis?
I'm 28.
You're 28. Lewis, listen, I respect you for calling into my show, but I would strongly suggest that you live a little bit more before you call up and debate topics like this. I appreciate you calling. Thanks for watching the show. Let's go to Red Pill Mike out there in Texas. Red Pill Mike, what's going on, brother? How you doing?
Are you ready for a real conversation?
Listen, man, he called in and he wanted to debate. I gave him what he wanted, and it is what it is, man. So what's going on?
Well, the question is, why do women deny the wall? The answer in itself is an essay. But of course, I have my thoughts. Before I give you my thoughts, just one question. Were any of the articles that you read, were any of them not written by women?
No, they were all written by women.
Okay. And I kind of figured that because all I heard were lies, delusions, and nothing significant that actually led toward addressing the root of the real problem.
There you go.
It was all about either society needs to change or we need to change the rules.
That's right.
For women to be able to benefit other than addressing really what the truth is.
That's right.
So the direction I'm going to go in is with statistics. I'm going to give you some statistics.
Let's do it.
In 2015, and I know, yes, that was 6 years ago, 2015, there was a demographic statistical study, and I'm quoting it because it's actually more relevant now than it was back when it was done.
Okay.
There was a demographic statistical study on the composition of the United States American workforce. 29% of the people in 2015 that composed the American workforce, 29% were baby boomers.
Wow.
Now, if anyone was actually listening, anyone's listening that still doesn't know what the hell a baby boomer is. It's the generation of people that was born between 1946 and 1964.
There you go.
Okay, it's an 18-year generation, the generation between the silent generation and Generation X, which I'm from and Donovan's from.
Right,
Okay,
Gen X, right.
now 29%, which was 45 million people, were baby boomers. Half of that baby boomer statistic was single women.
Oh, wow.
15%.
Wow.
15% of the United States workforce in 2015 were baby boomer single women. Now, for a lot of you, they're going, well, it's just 15%. It's not that much. No, it is, because I'm going to put it in reality for you.
Let's do it.
We're talking 23 million women. 23 million women. Do you know what that means? That means you could take the metropolitan area of New York,
Oh, wow.
the New York greater metropolitan area, the LA metropolitan area, and even probably the Chicago metropolitan area, and combine them together, and you've got basically the same amount.
Wow.
Wow. Okay. Right. So how is this relevant? It's relevant because if you fast forward now to 2021, if you were to meet and get to know any woman or a group of women that are between the ages of 70 and 50 that are single, that are having to work to support themselves,
Right.
you will eventually discover you're probably talking to some of the most unhappy people that you've ever met in your life. And where I'm
There you
going
go.
with this is the big issue is that if these baby boomer women, I know some of them are doing it now, but it's not as significant enough that's going to lead to anything relevant or any kind of change whatsoever. But if they're not going to actually stand up and tell these younger generations of women, for the love of God, do not subscribe to the horse shit that we
Dude.
tried to put into your brains because it didn't work for us and we are miserable. And if you continue to do what we taught you for so many years, you're going to be just as miserable. It's just going to be a repetitious cycle that's never going to change, and it's only going to get worse.
And Mike, listen, man, these same women whose lives are absolute dog shit, it's as though they're trying to lead these younger women astray because, as the saying goes, misery loves company. They know that subscribing to the womanist mindset leads to certain disaster, loneliness, cats, and boxed wine. Yet here they are, article after article, quote, research study after research study. Single women who are never married and never have children live the greatest lives of all time. They get better with age. Why do they do this?
It's, you know, it's the same thing we talk about, you know, and that you talk about show after show. It's just delusion. You know, they don't want to admit that they were wrong, you know, and this is just a root issue that you have with most women in general. They're never going to admit they're wrong. They're never going to take accountability. They'd rather have somebody shoot them in the fucking head before they'd have to go, you know what? Hey, I was wrong. Let me do the right thing now. Right?
Listen, man, we both know that is never going to happen. Listen, Mike, I greatly appreciate your contribution to the show, man. Thanks for calling in, man.
All right, man.
Red Pill Mike dropping knowledge as always. Before we go to Chris in New Mexico, who actually has quite an interesting topic to talk about, let me read these super chats here quickly. Amar Kermani, $5, says the only thing that can make a 50-year-old single woman feel truly good is to destroy and mislead younger and more attractive women. That's literally exactly what I just said. Literally. Christopher Rice with the $20 super chat says, solid show tonight. Thank you very much for that, Chris. Christopher Rice, one of my favorite Patreon supporters. James Young, $5, says, no disrespect to the first caller, which was Lewis in Miami. Sounds like a Figma male. Yeah, listen, man. Lewis really, listen, shout out to Lewis for calling in. He jousted with me. I think the guy is just pissed off. I think he's upset about the fact that, I mean, and I'm not trying to disparage the guy, but he seems very upset with black people that have more game, right? He seems upset with the fact that how can I put this? And that doesn't make us superior. The reason why black men have to have more game, black men have more game, is because we have to. Because, get this, I don't know if you noticed this, despite what you see on TV and popular culture, most white girls don't prefer black men. And because most white girls don't prefer black men, we have to have more game to attract them. This is just how it is. And plus, we used to deal with black women. At least I did. See, we have to have more game. But yeah, he seems very upset about the fact that he wanted to talk about the wall, then he talked about genetics, about the fact that he thinks black people don't have superior genetics. I mean, there is literally endless evidence to suggest the contrary. See, Platinum says, I took his belt and beat his female dog, you know what? OG St. James says ADOS have superior athletic ability due to eugenics and slavery in the U.S. That is why Africans don't win at athletics against the rest of the world. I would agree with that. I have no idea what ADOS means. I'm assuming African descendants of slavery. That's right. Is that what it is? Oh, okay. So, yeah. The reason why black people in this country have superior genetics is because all of the weak genes were bred out. They wanted strong, healthy slaves so they could do better work. Because of that, we run the leagues. 77% of all NBA players, African-American. 70% of all NFL players, African-American. But Donovan, most players in NHL are white. That's because black people don't like the cold. Listen, that's just real talk. Oh, boy. Oh, pardon me. Jesus. Oh, sorry about that. Woo. Yeah, listen. If black people had access to hockey, we dominate that too. That's just how it is. That's just how it is, man. I don't make the rules. Look at our sports leagues. Look at all of the world records. There is one athletic competition that Africans consistently dominate in, and that's the Boston Marathon. Kenyans always finish numbers 1 through 52 because they're like 20,000 feet above sea level. Their lungs are basically steel. But OG St. James totally agree with that assessment. All right, let us go back to the phone lines. Let us go to Chris in New Mexico. Chris, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good, but I'm a little freaked out that I have to go on after Red Pill Mike again, man. That's a tough act to follow.
Yeah, man. But listen, you're like the cleanup. See, right now, and I don't know that you're a baseball guy, but you are Jeff Kent in 2002. Jeff Kent, I believe it was 2002. Jeff Kent won the National League MVP. You want to know why? Because he had Barry Bonds hitting in front of him. And every time Jeff Kent stepped to the plate, he had Barry Bonds on base. And so Jeff Kent had, I think, more RBI than any player in Giants history. I think the second most RBI in a season. He ended up winning MVP. So this is your moment. Red Pill Mike, Barry Bonds, has hit a double. He's on second. You're up to bat. Are you going to drive him in, or are you going to fall short? Go.
Well, you just gave me my confidence back.
There you go.
All right, man. So, a few months ago, I saw this YouTube video, and I was a little bit reluctant about naming names, but I'm just going to name names.
Yeah, go ahead. Do it.
All right. So there's a female stand-up comic. Sorry about that?
Yeah, go ahead. You can name the YouTube video. That's fine.
Okay. So there's this female stand-up comic named Nikki Glaser, and she's actually pretty funny. I enjoy her comedy, but she's in her, I want to say, mid-30s now. I think she's around my age.
Okay.
And she was talking, and she's still single. And she's fairly attractive. I mean, she's not my type, but I mean, I can objectively say she's attractive. And she was talking to another female comic, and she was talking about being single at her age and how hard she's worked in her adult life. And I mean, I'll give that to her, but she's talking about how she doesn't get the same kind of guys that she used to when she was younger. And that kind of makes her feel depressed because she kind of feels entitled to it after everything she's done for herself.
Right.
And I can kind of feel where she's coming from as a man, but like I think that it goes back to blank slate equalism. She doesn't understand that the rules are different.
That's right.
For her.
That's right.
Because it doesn't matter how hard she works. It's never going to get me sprung. Okay. Her hard work is not going to get me sprung at all.
Right.
I don't care about her fame. I don't care about her status. I just care about her looks, her youth, her fertility. That's all I care about.
No, and look, and thanks for the call.
A lot of women.
Oh, sorry about that. Cut him off early. Thanks for the call, Chris, in New Mexico. Yeah, listen, Nikki Glazer is quite attractive. I think it said that she was like 30-something years old. I don't want to look it up because it's going to lag even more. I figured out why this computer lags at certain times because I make the internet work when I look things up. So apologies for the lag. But that's just it. Nikki Glazer thinks that she should be entitled to the men that she acknowledges that, listen, the guys I used to get back when I was 26, not the same quality physically as the guys, or actually physically or financially, as the guys used to get when I was 26. Well, this is because men of value, we don't need status. We don't care about status. We don't care about how much money you make. Are you hot? Are you feminine? Okay, are you cooperative? The older women get, the more masculine they become, the more, listen, the more success you have, the less compliant you become. I mean, and listen, Nikki Glazer looks good. I mean, dude, she's 36, 37 years old. She looks good. I'd smash her. I'm sure most men would. I wouldn't commit to her. Not at that age. Because again, I don't care about your career. I care about how you look. I care about if you're obedient. I care about your femininity. So, good call there by, oh God, I forgot his name already. What is that guy's? Chris in New Mexico. Yes, Chris in New Mexico. Apparently, Nikki Glazer, isn't she the one that read that book? The book about quitting alcoholism, like she read it through one time, and that's her. So, yeah. So, Miss Glazer is also an alcoholic. 36-year-old alcoholic comedian with lots of money. Yeah, real attractive. Let's go back to the phone lines. Let us go to my man Gerald in Calgary. Gerald, what's going on, brother? How you doing, man?
Yes, sir. How you doing, Donovan?
I'm doing absolutely wonderful.
For the first guy that called,
yeah,
there were black guys who invented the sports hockey. And it's very cold up here. It's minus 19. And the other day it was like minus 23, and I'm from Louisiana. So, it don't mix right, but it's crazy up here. But let me get to your statement, which made me call. And this is for the young guys. He's correct about these gray hairs, which is battle scars.
Right.
Battle scars represents wisdom. Here's some wisdom for you. And I don't mean no harm because of your girlfriend. But now that I'm older, women absolutely bring nothing to the table but debt, death, and destruction.
Yep.
The system used them to transfer money. Child support is not even part of the Constitution. Neither is taxes. So this system awarded these women with something called power. It's invisible. They don't have any power. The only power that you women have is your mouthpiece, your mouth. You can actually lie and say that a man did something to you, and as a brother, and you too, Donovan, we're guilty till proven innocent.
That's right.
Now,
that's right.
That is going across the board because, as Reverend Ike said back in the days, there's only one color, and that's the color green. So, yes, you women going to hit the wall because men now are applying the game chess to their lives. Should I go spank this? Should I become Dr. Spankalicious?
Right.
Or should I back away and hide? Because I saw my father go through this child support, and men are in jail now, Mr. Sharpe, because of something called child support, which is really not a felony. And then you put Trump in, not Trump, I'm sorry, then you put this man that's in there now, but the kicking part is the vice president candidate that he put in.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
She's one of the most dangerous persons on the planet for free labor, part of the child support. And let me throw this out to Lewis, if you don't mind.
Sure, go
Lewis,
ahead.
you're a child support waiting. You're a child support waiting, and if you do marry, your wife will go down the road, and she will cheat on you.
Yep.
She will.
Yes, she
Florida's
will.
a high place. Women can't stand the fact of being comfortable with that wall. Me, I don't know what the wall is. If I hit it, I'm comfortable with it.
Right.
I got to get old, and I'm going to pass away anyway.
Right.
So why should I worry about my looks? But I do appreciate you saying I have my teeth. All of them are mine. I still go to the dentist. I go to the doctor. I definitely drink me a nice beer, and I do my push-ups.
There you go.
And I still go along with life. But it is a warning to you, Donovan, and to men. I'm 63. I'm waiting on these people up here in Calgary to give me my paperwork so I can get a little job so I can go back and make my money. Guess what I'm running into?
What's that?
Another woman who's a DA who's most likely hitting the wall. Men, put on your Ray-Bans, take a step back, and begin to look at the world. Just because it looks like gold doesn't mean it's gold.
Gerald.
That is my word, Mr. Shaw.
Gerald.
Yes, sir.
Gerald in Calgary, Alberta, dropping straight facts. Gerald is 63 years old, man. He is 63 years old. He's speaking facts. He talked about the fact that our vice president is the most dangerous woman in America. I don't know if that's the way he characterized it, but it was Bill Clinton that enacted the deadbeat dad law. Bill Clinton is the one responsible for the fact that men get locked up and get their driver's license taken away when they're late on their child support payments. That's just how this is. And when, let's just face it, Kamala Harris, her name is Kamala. I think they call her Kamala to make her sound less black, right? Because, listen, before the presidential election, I remember her as Kamala Harris. But I think they call her Kamala Harris to make it sound a little bit less black. I don't care one way or the other. But I think we're probably about 15 minutes away from having her as the president. Like, dude, our president could croak at any moment. Like, listen, and I don't have anything against the president. I think he's a good man. I really do. Don't agree with his policies, but dude, I don't think he's gonna make it the 4 years. I really don't. Please don't talk about political stuff. I don't want to talk. Don't call me talking about, oh, no, this is not a political show. Just giving my opinion. Okay, so the next few callers I have not screened. What this means is that when I answer the phone, you will not be able to hear them. Only I will. They can hear me. When I feel comfortable enough to let them on the air, I will. So please don't tell me, Donovan, we can't hear the other caller. This is by design. So let's go to area code 615. Area code 615, you're on live with Donovan. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Yes, sir. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Doing good. Doing good.
Wait, are you talking to me?
Okay.
Gene. Hello?
Yep, still here. Go ahead.
Yeah. There's a book called The Sports Gene that was written by one of the guys that worked for ESPN about Africa and black athletes and everything. And LG St. James stole my thunder. He's right. If you go throughout Africa, their genetics are about average. It's the same as everybody else in the world. It's the black men in America. Thank God I'm a black man too.
Right.
So that have that superior athletic gene. Yeah, quick twitch muscle fibers. Because and that guy Lewis, he was trying to argue that. Look, we have to live outdoors and work all day for our whole lives. Your descendants are going to be a little bit stronger than the next man. Okay. If you work all day, every day, and live outdoors, and basically go through the worst of life, you are hardened, and you pass down those hardened genes, like you said, those are bred out.
Well, I'll put it to you this way, Jim Ed. No. Now, hold on, Jim. I disagree with that. I think that, and I agree with the other guy. What's his name? OG St. James. He talked about the fact that selective, what he called it, eugenics. And slavery. Yeah, listen, because the weaker African Americans who couldn't work on the railroad all the live long day, they were bred out of existence, and so only the strong were able to survive.
Yeah, they died off. I agree with you. Okay. I agree with him too. Okay, so let me get back to the wall subject though.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to tell him just, hey, look, dude, 35 years old, a man's not hitting the wall. Michael Jordan won his last championship at 35.
That's right.
Okay. I mean, so miss me on that. Men hit the wall too, not like women do. All right, that's just a lie. A woman's value, as everybody knows, if you read, is in her beauty, her youth, and that fades with age. As she gets older, of course, that goes away. Okay.
Yep.
Her other value is in her femininity and her willing to cooperate with you or me. Okay. So she hits the wall. That's it. All right. That really, she doesn't have a whole lot past that.
Nope.
All right.
That's it.
And to your other caller, yeah, I used to work. I don't want to say anything, but I used to work for the government. I don't work for the government anymore, but let me just say this. The 16th Amendment does make it legal for the government to collect taxes. So that is in the government. Now, not for the federal government to collect taxes. That is not in the actual law. But the states can collect taxes from you. The federal government isn't legally supposed to be able to collect taxes. So I used to be in tax enforcement.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, man, dude, the sexual market value is it doesn't lie. As a matter of fact, it's probably exaggerated, It's probably under exaggerated, if anything, for women and men.
No,
okay?
I agree.
So yeah, men don't hit. George Clooney isn't hitting. Look, George Clooney can still pull. Brad Pitt can still pull.
Of course.
Tom
Cruise, Brad Pitt, dude, even Clint Eastwood. I mean, it's like there's proof all around us all the time. Even the thumbnail.
Yeah.
Even the thumbnail shows Tom Cruise and Kelly McGillis back in 1986 and in 2018. Like, the wall is the wall.
Yes. Dude, Tom Cruise can still pull women now. Okay? And Kelly McGillis is not getting a shot at Tom Cruise level guys. Let's just be honest.
No.
Okay? I mean, and this is my last thing. I got to go. I'm going to let you go, brother.
Okay.
Women, if there was no wall, I mean, and I was watching Myron Gaines. Shout out to Myron Gaines, man. I'm starting to work out myself. I hit the gym tomorrow, too.
There you go. There you go.
Those guys, ladies, that you like so much that you think you got a shot at once you hit that wall, they see you and keep right on walking.
That's right.
Okay? And that's the thing. As you get older, ladies, your value it precipitously goes down. It just does. Though women have met that guy they really want, and he kept right on walking.
That's right.
He saw you like, nah, I'm good. But at our level, as men get older, our value increases, and women know that.
Yes, they do.
A young lady is going to see you, is going to see me as we get older, and she's going to say, this guy has money, this guy has security, this guy's mature, this guy has this. She's going to see all the things that she's looking for in order to nest and to be happy and secure over the long term. That's all I got, brother. Love
Jim
the show,
Ed, thank you very much for dropping the knowledge. Jim Ed speaking facts. By the way, guys, Blog Talk Radio, the way I have Blog Talk Radio programmed now, and I actually didn't do this. If you call in and you hit the number 1 to jump in line, Blog Talk Radio is automatically it's gonna hang up on you. It's gonna hang up on you. Some of you guys like to call in and press 1 to get to the top of the list. Like, I can see that you pressed 1. It also automatically, like, if anybody calls in and doesn't reveal their number, like if they call in, and I forget how you can tell, it's a bunch of 1s or whatever. If you block your number, Blog Talk Radio, I don't know how long it allows you to listen or whatever, but at some point, it's going to hang up on you. So if you press 1 to jump to the top of the line, or if you call in and block your number, eventually you are going to get hung up on. That's just how this is. So you can call in 100 times, Blog Talk Radio is going to eliminate you.
90 seconds.
Don't freak out. 90 seconds. You have 90 seconds to call in. If you get on the line, you will get in the show. Okay? This doesn't mean I got to talk to everybody within 90 seconds. This means that you have 90 seconds to call in. If you want to call in right now, 516-387-1987. After the 90 seconds is up, it gives me a certain amount of time to finish my callers. 90 seconds. Area code 514.
60 seconds.
I have 60. Area code 514. You're on live with Donovan. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Please turn down YouTube. Janik, how you doing, man? How you doing, brother?
Bring this topic up at the beginning of the year of the ox. Speaking of women in the wall, and happy Chinese New Year to you and to everybody there. Just before I chime in on the subject, and my connection's a little bit sketchy, so if I drop off, no hard feelings.
Okay, yeah, it's all good.
You were talking about hockey, and there's about 80 black hockey players in the NHL. Names like PK Subban, names like Reginald Savage that actually started. So they're cleaning up in there as well.
I did not realize that there were 80 black players in the NHL. Wow, I didn't even realize that. Listen, I've only known of a few black hockey players. PK Subban, Grant Fuhrer, who was the goalie during the dynasty, the Edmonton Oilers back in the 80s, Wayne Gretzky, Mark Messier, Marty McSorley. I think Paul Coppy may have been on that team. But him and Anson Carter. Those. And then there's Jerome McGinley, Hall of Famer for the Calgary Flames. Those, huh? I'm on the air. Jesus Christ. But those are the only black hockey players that I knew of at this point. So, Wayne Simmons of the Philadelphia Flyers, as Devin was trying to tell me as I shouted her down. But yeah, I didn't know that there were 80 African-American hockey players in the NHL. Holy moly, I had no idea.
Well, this is what Wikipedia tells me. Mind you, okay, it's not necessarily the NHL, but I mean like playing pro hockey like worldwide. Okay,
well, still, that's a hell of a lot, man.
Yep. And actually, that being said, okay, just to get back to the topic, I know you don't believe in karma, but I would like to disagree that karma, the wall, is probably one of the only real, tangible instances of karma, because I'll tell you one thing, okay? Nothing feels better than seeing a girl who broke your heart, looking at you with despair, wearing that, you know how like women in their mid-40s wear makeup and it makes them look like Ronald McDonald more than anything, and she's looking at you with despair, and she's trying to shame you while you're smashing a nice young little Filipina. I mean, age looks good on men. I mean, look at Hugh Hefner, who smashed it until the day he went down.
Yeah. Listen, I gotta tell you, Janik, that kind of makes sense. That kind of makes sense, man. No, you're absolutely right. I never really thought of it that way because, again, like I said at the top of the show, if they play their cards right, they never have to pay the price. So if they play their cards wrong, I guess karma gets the better of them.
Exactly. And I mean, like I said, I'm 49 now. I still look like I'm in my 30s, which is probably exceptional for a white guy.
Of course.
But if you play your cards right, you're going to keep riding into the sunset, and there's really no limit. I mean, I look at everybody around me that's getting older. I mean, even you, add a couple of gray hairs to that beard, 15 years later, you're going to be looking like Uncle Phil.
You know it. Salt and pepper for life, man. Janik L'Italian, listen, I don't know that you know this, but I've made you a moderator in the chat.
Oh yeah, there's a wrench. Cool.
Yep.
Thank you.
So Janik L'Italian now has a wrench. Thank you very much for calling, Janik. I greatly appreciate that. Let us go to let's go to area code 714. Area code 714. You're on live with Donovan. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Okay. Yeah, I can hear you. What are you calling about? Okay. What you got?
Was that what I noticed was that this is notion that the biggest and strongest African Americans were bred together to form some sort of super African American in regards to their genetics or whatnot. But the reality is that where the slave trade was conducted, those particular countries, those were considered Africans who had like quick twitch fibers, who were bigger and stronger. So if you look at the coast of Ghana, Togo, Benin, Cameroon, Nigeria, that's exactly where the slave trade happened. And most of those particular Africans in that region tend to have more muscular dexterity. They tend to be faster. If you notice, you really never really see in the NBA or NFL blacks from Ethiopia or Sudan, because those particular genes were a lot different compared to on the coast of Africa where they took the slaves from. So from that particular region where slaves were taken, those were slaves that were well equipped to do more of the heavier lifting in regards to farm work. So slaves were purposely taken from that particular area because they had more of the dexterity to be able to do all those things that were needed in order to bring them to America.
Yeah, so I would agree with that.
I wanted to chime that in. In regards to my other topic, women hitting the wall, I think women, they've just been given everything from the age of 16 onwards to where everything has been thrown on them. So when this concept of them getting older and not being able to attract the same kind of men that they've been able to attract in their youth, it's almost like they don't believe it because everything has been given to them naturally since the age of 16. Every guy has been offering them free things. So once they hit that 30 that age, to them it's almost unbelievable because they've never had to have that particular adversary to deal with in the first place.
Yeah, and thanks for the call, Adi. I hope I pronounce his name correctly. I think I've got Adiele. Listen, he's absolutely right. Women are ill-equipped to handle rejection because they never have to deal with it. From the time a woman is 16, 17 years old, she already knows and understands that men want to have sex with her. And if men want to have sex with her, they do nice things to her. They treat her nice. And women will admit, listen, man, for the most part, life is great. Everybody's nice to me. I get whatever I want. Then when they hit the wall, they can't handle it because they're used to being given literally everything for nothing but existing. Then when they figure out, wait a minute, I actually have to make an effort and work for this attention. I have to work for this affection. I have to work for these resources. That's where the entitlement comes in because when they're younger, they are more or less entitled to these things because they're young and pretty. You're not young anymore. You're not entitled to anything anyway, except for in this country when you're young and pretty. So that's how it goes. Before I go to area code 407, let me read off these super chats. James Young, $5, says women have to be more masculine in the workplace to advance their careers and compete against the men. Absolutely. James Young, another $5 super chat, says family court is a court of means, not a court of law. James Young, another $5, says Bill Clinton also enacted tougher sentencing guidelines on drug-related charges. Biden was one of the senators who approved it. Yeah, I was actually watching a documentary called Crack, and it was literally talking about the crack epidemic and all the super predator stuff. I don't want to turn this into, I don't want to turn this into that, but yes, that is true. Appreciate that, James Young. Majestic 42, $2 says in China, the wall is 27. Yeah. MLD says that women over the age of 25 years old in Japan that are not married, they're called Christmas cake because nobody wants Christmas cake. Nixon Talk with the $5 Australian says my Saturdays are better with the TSR live. Women will live the 304 life in their 30s and 40s once they're divorced. It's been the common denominator. Absolutely. Let's go to the phone lines. Let's go to area code 407. Area code 407. You're on Live at Donovan. What's your name? Where are you calling from? I sure can. Doing good, Josh in Orlando. What's on your mind?
Women. From what I think for the wall, at least for men, I think that they hit the wall when they lose their game. When they lose game, because a guy with game basically has no limits as long as he keeps himself in shape and as long as he keeps himself healthy. But the game is the most important thing. It's paramount to attracting women. So they hit the wall when they're in a long-term relationship and they lose that game. So they're no longer able to attract women as much as they used to. So they got to polish that up again. The good thing is that they'll be able to bring back up the game by just getting back in touch with how they used to do things. But for women, when they hit the wall, they just hit the wall, man. There's no turning back from it because, of course, men are visual. They're more interested in what a woman would be, what a woman looks like, what a woman would at least would provide for the guy. But for me, from my perspective, the guys lose. They hit the wall when they lose their game. But quick thing, I was actually talking to this one girl the other day. She's like, "Look, I just need a true guy's perspective. I just need a guy's perspective." I'm like, "Are you sure you're ready for the real truth?" She's like, "Yeah, I just don't know. I don't know." I was like, "Okay, well."
They're never ready for it, Josh. They're never ready.
They're never ready. So I just like, okay. So here's what happens. You got a cute face. You're cute. You're cute, but the body needs work. You got a little. I give you about a 3 right now. She's like, "Are you serious?" I'm like,
"Yeah." You're about
a 3.
You told her that for real?
Why? Yes, because she's like, well, she was broken up and she was crying. She's like, "I just don't know why they don't pick me. What's wrong with me?" I'm like, "Well, all right, I'll give you the true guy's perspective.
You're fat. That's why.
That's it. Fat. You're fat here." She's like, "Oh well, I just don't know. I just think that I just think. Oh, all right. How many dogs you got? She got 2 dogs." And in the words of great Kevin Samuels, get a dog, die alone. Because if you're not willing to change, you're not willing to you're not willing to do better. You're not going to get a guy that way. So I just don't think it's like that. Well, you can think whatever you want, but that's not how it works. That's not how this works. You want a guy? What would a guy want from you? Do you want this guy? Okay, cool. What does that guy want from you?
Right.
I don't know. Well, it's your job to figure that out.
Women, and here's the thing, Josh.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, Josh, and I'll give you the last word after I say this. Women know what guys want.
Yeah.
They want women who are not overweight. Because women who are below, dude, I saw a girl at the gym today, below average looking, borderline butterface, but her body was out of this world. I was like, wow. Like I saw it from behind. I was like, dude, let me see what this girl's face looked like. I turned around. Her face was like, okay, all right. Below average looking face, but her body was probably like 9.5, 10, probably had a boob job. The point is, women know what men want physically. Just because you weren't born beautiful doesn't mean you can't still attract high value men. For this overweight girl to say, "I don't know what guys want," she's being intellectually dishonest. No, what she's really saying is, I know what guys want, I'm just not willing to do it. I'll give you the last word.
Before I head out, when I asked her, "Do you want to be fat 50 with 5 dogs and alone?" She's like, "No." Well, get to work. And one more thing, what's funny? Butter faces are more attractive than cute faces with cute and fat. The cute face and fat, because most of the girls that I've talked to, at least a good majority of them, like about 90% of them, they prefer doggy style. And you do not look at the face when you're doing doggy style. Have a good night, Donovan. Love the work. Take care.
Listen, one correction, Josh, before you go. There is no such thing as a fat girl with a cute face. You want to know why? Because her face would be cuter if she weren't fat. That's it. Bert, listen, get this out of your vocabulary, Josh. You have a cute face, but you're overweight. No. Truncate cute face.
You're fat.
You're overweight. That's it. Josh in Orlando, I appreciate the call. Josh in Orlando dropping the knowledge. Told her, you got a cute face, but you're a little overweight. Captain Crunch 420, haven't seen you in here in a while, says, excellent show, Donovan. Love the green screen effects. No, Captain Crunch, you're not supposed to be complimenting the green screen effects. I spent 50 grand on my studio so that I don't have to use green screen effects. Obviously, I say that in jest. I'm on the road. I don't want to. I mean, I'm basically in the dining room of the Airbnb, so I had to make it look some kind of way. When I go on the road, I'm going to have to figure out some kind of way to make it look a little bit more palatable. Appreciate the super chat. By the way, Chris Rice, shout out to Chris Rice with the $100 Cash App. With the $100 Cash App. Says solid professional content. Thank you very, very much for that. Appreciate that very, very much. Chris Rice, Chris Rice is getting up there into the Red Pill Mike and Bob in Sacramento. I need to shoot an email to Bob in Sacramento to make sure he's okay. I haven't heard from him in a while. I need to reach out to him, make sure he's okay. Let's go to the next caller. Let us go to area code 701. 701, you're on Live with Donovan. What's your name? Where are you calling from? What's up, brother? 701, what's up? Say, Bismarck, North Dakota. What's your first name? Tyler in North Dakota. What's on your mind, Tyler? So Tyler in North Dakota wants to talk about how Bumble has recently publicly traded. They're now a public company now. Go ahead, Tyler.
Yeah, so Bumble IPO'd like a day ago, and they shot up like they're worth roughly like double what they were initially offered at. And to me, it's just like if you know about Bumble, it's like a women brand dating app.
Yeah, basically they make the selection. I mean, I've never done online dating, but I think I know the basic tenets of Bumble. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's crazy because like on Tinder, there have been studies that show like 90% of the women on Tinder are all going for the top 5% of guys, and like 90% of the dudes are all just competing for like the bottom 15% of the women. And now you're going to have this Bumble app, which guy's going to sign up for it when you've had like the experiences I've had with dating apps? And it's all these women in like their 30s and 40s who are going to take control now. And now it's going to be like, well, you know what I mean? Like with the wall and everything.
Well, I'll tell you what, Tyler, if I'm not mistaken, I don't know if you've heard about this, but Bumble makes it, they ban users, they ban women who put bikini pictures and topless bra pictures. In other words, Bumble does not allow women to show their bodies. So what they're doing, and they don't allow men to shame women by talking about their weight preferences in terms of dating. So what Bumble is essentially doing, they've gone public, but they've made it harder for men to screen out the women they want nothing to do with because of extra weight. So the initial public offering might be double what they thought it was. That stock is that company's going to crash because men are going to be checking out. I'll give you the last word on that.
Yeah, I'm not investing in that. And then just another thing, like a black 5 can get a white 8, and then like a white 5 could get like a black 8. Like, what do you think about that?
Yeah, a woman who's a black 5 will never get a white 8 as a man. That's just not going to happen. That's not going to happen. The sexual marketplace has bared this out. There is endless data. And thanks for the call, Tyler in North Dakota. There is endless data. And when I say data, I mean on dating apps, because really, if you want to know what the romantic preferences of men and women really are, you look at the data on dating apps. I don't want to know about studies. I don't want to know about statistics. I don't want to know about surveys. No. What are people doing? Who are they swiping right on? Who are they swiping left on? That's the only accurate data there is. And the data consistently shows that African American women, black women, are the least preferred. I don't make the rules, guys. On the other side, Asian men and Indian men are the least preferred on the woman's side. It is what it is. That's the sexual marketplace. Is it fair? Doesn't matter. The SMB doesn't give a shit about what's fair and what's not. But I agree with Tyler. There's no need to invest in that. Okay, let's go to area code 832. Area code 832, you're on Live at Donovan. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Kevin in Houston. What's on your mind, Kevin?
I've been trying to step up to the Red Pill Challenge, and I think I'm taking at least some positive steps in that direction.
Good. Glad to hear it.
I've lost 55 pounds and doing much better in my work life.
Wow, 55 pounds.
So,
holy smokes, good for you, dude. Congratulations, 55 pounds. How long did it take you to lose that?
A year and a half.
Okay. Oh, good. Okay, good. So it's a good, consistent, steady, healthy loss of weight. Good for you, Kevin. I'm glad to hear that, man.
Thank you. My question for you was, and granted, if you've covered this previously, maybe you can just point me in the right direction, okay. And I can go look at that because I don't want to waste your time. But what are your thoughts on kink culture? Have you ever? I don't know what your knowledge base is on that.
On what culture?
Kink.
Oh, like people who have certain kinks, like certain sexual kinks?
Kind of.
Yeah, listen.
It's more of just like a kind of a generalized thing.
No,
now,
listen.
My thing on that is,
go ahead.
Don't get me wrong. I love your stance on, woman who's definitely well past the wall, but has way too much pride to realize it. I mean,
sure.
Your response to that, of course, is, you know what, you're only worth really, plowing your back out for 6.5 minutes, and sure. I'm out of there.
Right.
The difference is, like in kink culture, your intimate experiences not only don't always involve sex, but can tend to overtly avoid it. As in, it's off the table because you negotiate that out previously.
Gotcha. No, listen, as far as, and now I have heard of kink culture a little bit. From what I understand, it's almost like a sexual libertarian kind of culture. Whatever you're into, whatever you're not into, nobody's going to pass judgment. I am 100% on board with that. And listen, and I will readily admit, Kevin, that there are men out here who are honestly, viscerally, sexually attracted to overweight women. There aren't many out there relative to the number of men, but they do exist. There are men who are sexually attractive to women who are over the age of 40. This doesn't mean they're weird. This doesn't mean they don't have a healthy sexual appetite. Listen, man, if people can be born with genetic defects, Down syndrome, hemophilia, then why can't sexual preferences be a difference in the genetic biome as well, in the genetic code as well? Sometimes men are just born with certain sexual kinks. Sometimes sexual kinks are developed. I like my women to wear heels when I pound them out, probably because of my porn addiction, my past porn addiction. It is what it is. I'll give you the last word, Kev.
I don't blame you there. Although, last word I would say is one thing you said earlier about African Americans having the genetic advantage. In general, I won't necessarily disagree with that, but at the extremes, I would.
Okay.
Like at the extreme ends of the spectrum.
Okay.
My basic example there is old friend of mine. You would have watched him play on Sunday if you watched the Super Bowl. We played in college. We played in college together. Man was the second most gifted, just naturally gifted athlete I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
Dude was.
And he's a white guy?
No, he's black.
Oh, yeah, right. Okay, right. I mean, listen, and thank you very much and by the way, Kevin, congratulations on that 55-pound weight loss, man. That is nothing to sneeze at. Listen, man. And again, there are Caucasian men who are also genetically gifted. Dorian Yates, one of the two Mr. Olympians and the last white Mr. Olympians, him and Jay Cutler. Not quarterback Jay Cutler, bodybuilder Jay Cutler and Dorian Yates, white guys who are born genetically gifted. John Lynch, one of the greatest safeties ever. Name any white wide receiver, white running back. Christian McCaffrey, Peyton Hillis, Joe Juravicious, Jason Sehorn. They're out there. But for every Christian McCaffrey that exists, there are 74 Derrick Henrys. For every Luka Doncic that's born, there are 48 LeBron Jameses. It is what it is. It is what it is. And I appreciate Kevin for his honesty. Area code 614. You're on Live with Donovan. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
You know,
Okay.
what the problem is these females always want to bring out the outlier celebrity out there.
Yes.
Oh, but Janet Jackson had a baby at
Yes.
52, and I'm like, yeah, bitch, but you're not Janet Jackson. You don't have a personal trainer, a personal chef, a yoga coach. You don't have 6, 7, 8 figures in the bank. I mean, come on. But that's just the delusion once again that they've bought into, and they've been sold by Cosmo and soap operas and movies and TV. I mean, they've been bombarded with it.
Yep.
Look at what Disney did in the 90s with all the Disney princess movies, and that stuff is still selling, and they're all under that delusion. They think they can ride the CC until they're in their 35, and then Prince Charming is going to roll up in his white Lamborghini and take them off to his castle in whatever rich neighborhood you want to mention, Beverly Hills, yada, yada, yada.
Right.
And it just doesn't happen.
No, it does not. No, it does not. Thank you very much to Don Draper for calling in. He called himself Don Draper because he had a corporate job. Listen, Don hit the nail on the head. Every time we as men come with an argument in terms of women hitting the wall, you shouldn't ride the CC, you should get married young, they always like to mention, well, Jay-Z and Beyonce. Sweetie, you ain't Beyonce. Well, Janet Jackson had a kid at 50 years old. You ain't Janet Jackson. Well, Jennifer Lopez is still hot. Yeah, Jennifer Lopez is the only 50-year-old 9 in history. Jennifer Lopez is the dude. She is the extreme outlier. J-Lo's a 9. J-Lo's a hard 9, and she's 51, 52 years old. J-Lo is Tom Brady. That's never happening again. There is never going to be another female who is dude. J-Lo is actually hotter now at 51 than she was when she was 21. I mean, listen, and again, this doesn't happen. Jennifer Lopez does not exist. Jennifer Lopez is never happening again. Tom Brady, there's never going to be another 7-time Super Bowl winner as a quarterback. Not going to happen. But that's the outlier. Don't point to J-Lo. Don't point to Elizabeth Hurley. I don't want to know about the outliers. We want to know about the norm. This is one of the main differences between men and women. We as men, we don't look at the outliers. We don't say, well, I want to be. No, we're like, you know what? What's the norm? What's the norm? What does the average guy have to do to become above average? This is why most men are above average and most women are below average. Because women are only looking at above average women, but they don't want to do above average women work. We as men, we're like, okay, I want to be above average, so I got to do the work. That's how it is. That's how it is. Area code 801. Area code 801. You're on Live with Donovan. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Kevin in Utah, what's going on, brother? How you doing, man?
Hey, thanks. I actually wanted to touch on a few things. I'll try to be quick. The first thing about the genetics.
Okay.
I'm a white Caucasian, and I had a couple of my really good friends growing up. They weren't Caucasian, and they were freaking jacked, dude. Like, without even working out, they were freaking huge.
Yep.
And I was always a really skinny guy, and I put on about 100 pounds literally of muscle over all these years. I mean, it took me a long freaking time, but even then, like, they barely worked out, and they could still pretty much keep up with me as far as, like,
let me stop you right there, Kevin.
I mean,
let me stop you right there, Kevin, and I'll let you finish, I promise. Here's the thing.
Okay.
You guys all know that most people know I used to weigh 312 pounds. I was a veritable fat ass, no doubt about it. Even now, even when I'm actually slowly getting back into shape. even let's just say I take a 6-month break, and I notice this even now. Even when I now, let's say my optimal, my fighting weight is probably at 215. At 215 pounds, I look the best. At 215, I stand 6'2". I've got a good wide frame. I have a large wide chest. Even when I'm at 250 pounds, I still have definition in my traps. Even though I have a belly, you can still see the outline of a six-pack trying to come in. This is genetics. That's all there is to it. Listen, obviously I want to get in the best shape possible, but this just goes to show even with superior genetics, doesn't make me any better or worse than anybody else. I don't have to work out to still look halfway decent. I'll let you continue. Go ahead.
Yeah, and I agree. They're both the same way. And one of my buddies got really good into bodybuilding, and he's natural.
Wow.
And I'm not natural, and he seriously has pretty much kept up with me, and he's doing natural high end shows, and he's freaking jacked, and no testosterone supplements, nothing. It's crazy.
Wow, that's impressive.
I wanted to jump over to the. I know we're kind of talking about the SMV and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't see a lot of people talk about this, but you were talking earlier about how, a lot of guys talk about how men's SMV gets higher in their 30s and whatnot.
Yeah.
But I don't hear a lot of people talking about what needs to go along with that to keep your SMB high. I think a lot of guys just think that you're going to magically get into your 30s and your SMB is going to be high, but you need to work on your game and, more importantly, your finances. That is a huge part of it. You don't just turn mid-30s and all of a sudden your SMB is higher than women's.
Yep.
You have to be the full package.
Yes. Kevin in Utah, you are 274% correct. You don't just all through your 20s. Okay, we know your SMV is low, but you have to be working. You have to build momentum so that you can hit the ground running when you're in your 30s. Just like you said, Kevin, you don't just magically all of a sudden start becoming a vagina magnet just because you turned 30. No, you got to put in the work. You got to learn how to manage your finance. You got to learn how to balance your budget. You got to work out. You got to eat clean. You got to do all these things. Your sexual market value only increases in your 30s if you do what's necessary to increase your sexual market value. I'll give you the last word, Kevin.
Exactly. And I think a lot of guys need to know that and be putting in the work in their 20s. It's so easy to get distracted chasing women in your 20s. If I could go back and do it all over again, I would have worked on my hustle throughout my 20s.
There you go.
And then in my 30s, I would have been a millionaire. And then you can have any damn girl you want. You tell her to kick rocks if she's throwing you drama. You know what I mean? So work on your hustle, guys, in your 20s. Don't be so freaking distracted with chasing women, especially these days. These women are freaking crazy, man.
Oh, my God. They're nuts.
Chase your hustle, guys, and stay with these red pill content creators. These guys are definitely on the right track helping us all out. And Donovan, I really appreciate your help, man.
Absolutely, Kevin. Thank you very much for calling in. Listen, he's absolutely right. You have to be working hard to have your high SMV in your 30s. Area code 252. I'm going to come to you in just 1 second. So Kyle Mitchell says, I love you, Donovan, but J-Lo is way hotter in 1993. I'm going to have to look up a picture of J-Lo in 93 because I think you might be right. Say what? Oh, stop it. Now Devin's attention whoring. I was hotter in 93. Of course you were. You're fucking, yeah, right, whatever. Devin just wanted to say I was hotter. That's what she wanted to do. She's a woman. God bless her. TM Flesh, $20, says they have been attempting to hinder men's sexual market trajectory for years. The quote, the midlife crisis is shaming language meant to discourage men from indulging in their increased financial and sexual market value of middle age. I am going to plagiarize that. That is a fantastic tweet. I'm going to plagiarize that, and I'm going to give you credit, TM Fresh, on Twitter, because that is absolutely a brilliant tweet, and I can't find hang on a second. I need to screen grab that, because that was absolutely freaking, oops. Of course, I turned off my, whatever. All right, well, I'll figure out another way to talk about it. But yes, TM Fresh hit the nail on the head with that particular tweet. Mike No-Go Zones, $5. Says Jennifer Lopez also has a personal trainer, nutritionist, dresses to the nines, and has had a few nip tucks. Listen, there are many celebrities who have a personal trainer, nutritionist, they dress to the nines, and have a few nips and tucks. They're not as hot as J-Lo. I think J-Lo is the beneficiary of genetics and human growth hormone. I believe 1,000% Jennifer Lopez is on HGH. That is the only way. Listen, she needs the nip tuck. Don't get it twisted. She needs the nips and the tucks. And listen, man, I am not opposed to a woman getting nipped and tucked to be hotter. Got no problem with that. Dude, get bigger boobs, get a flatter stomach. I don't care. Listen, I'm not mad at you. The fake asses, that's kind of where I draw the line. But dude, I'm all about fake tits and tummy tucks. Like, do all of that. But J-Lo has had all of that. But there is something else that she is doing. It is a combination of her genetics and human growth hormone. Human growth hormone is quite literally the fountain of youth. J-Lo is 100% on HGH. Think about who her boyfriend is. Her boyfriend and fiance is Alex Rodriguez, who obviously has experience with the needles. Yeah, but TM Flesh absolutely nailed it. Last call of the evening. Let us go to area code 252. Area code 252, you're on Live with Donovan. What's your name? Where are you calling from? New Bern, North Carolina. I'm going to tell you what, only one, Carter. I have been to New Bern. That is out there towards Oriental and the Outer Banks by the beach. Am I right?
Absolutely.
Very good. What's on your mind, man?
Yeah, I want to talk about this wall that that these women do hit. And I want to say this. The Miami Dolphins in 1972 were undefeated.
Right.
Floyd Mayweather is undefeated.
Right.
And the wall is undefeated. But what I'm saying is these women are trying to manipulate the wall.
That's right.
By using tools of battle against the wall. What is that? Tummy tuck.
Yes.
Makeup. Boob jobs. Waistbands. Many tools they have. It even filters down to online. Filters in their pictures. Smoothing the skin out. Lighting and angles. But the wall stays undefeated. So how hard they may try to manipulate the wall. The wall checks that. So that's one thing that that these women need to understand. And for us men, yes, like you said earlier, hey, us men, when we're going through the phase of becoming a man, we getting rejected, we going out there, getting our stripes, earning the gray hairs, getting better with women. But in the long run, that makes us a better man.
That's right.
I'm 43, and I kid you not, I don't even want to go back to my 20s.
No.
I love getting older and looking good.
Yes.
As I'm getting older, I actually feel like I'm look better than I did when I was younger. And I got the cheat code is keeping up with myself as I'm getting older, which will make me even more attractive. There's going to be no woman that's 40 years old going to say, I can't wait. I'll look better when I get older. No, that's not the case.
No.
They will want to go back to their 20s, as we all know. So this wall is undefeated, ladies. And I'm going to close on this for these women. The only wall that came down is the Great Wall of China. Y'all wall is staying up. So I need y'all. I just need them to know that. But yeah, Mr. Shaw, I just want to say that about these, dealing with these women and the wall. Well, let me ask you this in close. Can you answer this question?
Okay.
Don't you feel like the online is kind of skewing the way women are projecting themselves because they're getting a lot of attention from simps, betas, and bears? Oh my! Aren't they? Don't you feel like that is kind of manipulating what they really feel about the wall because they're getting attention from undesirable men?
Yeah.
That's the question I have for you, sir.
Yeah, only one, Carter. I totally agree with that. And thanks for the call, man. Checking in from New Bern, North Carolina. He is 100% correct. And but again, deep down, women know, okay, I'm getting all this attention from men. they're still complaining because the attention they get from men is not the attention they want from those men. They want the attention from high-value men. They're getting attention from low-value men. Oh, you're so hot, I love MILFs and this and that and the other. No, they don't want attention from those guys. That attention is cheap because it comes easy. No, they want attention from guys like me. They want attention from guys like Jim Ed. They want attention from guys like, they want attention from older men who are seasoned, they look good, they have their shit together. They clearly want attention from these men. They are upset because they're not getting attention from high-value men. I totally 1,000% agree with that. Mike No-Go Zones, another $5 super chat, says, how harmful are chick flicks and shows like Sex and the City and how women are seeing themselves? I'd love to see an episode of you breaking down Sex and the City. Devin, write that down, man. Write that down. That might actually be a very good idea. Breaking down episodes of Sex and the City. Wow, that would be an excellent breakdown. Mike No-Go Zones may very well have given me my next great idea. AI, $5 Australian says, Jennifer Lopez, Charlize Theron, Jennifer Aniston, they're all hot, but I ain't gonna wipe them up. Women confuse being hot versus being young. Yes, that is the difference between sexual market value and relationship market value. Yes, J-Lo, Charlize Theron, and Jennifer Aniston have high relative sexual market value, but all they are good for at this point in their lives, all being in their late 40s, is just sex. As hot as Jennifer Lopez is, A-Rod could do much better. A-Rod could do much better. Now, you have to understand, Alex Rodriguez was in need. I don't want to get into this, but A-Rod was a pariah for a while. I even wrote an article about him in Return of Kings. I mentioned him in an article. I called him the Latin loser. You know, A-Rod, Mike Tyson, Terrell Owens compared to Michael Jordan, Tom Brady, Derek Jeter. How athletes show us the importance of fathers. A-Rod is in that. A-Rod was in the middle of the steroid scandal, biogenesis, all the rest of that. He is now one of the most beloved figures in sports and in popular culture. Why? Because J-Lo is his fiance. He was even involved in the Super Bowl that J-Lo did. They had him all on camera with the microphone. All right, Jennifer, you're going to do this. So A-Rod has his reasons for being with J-Lo. But make no mistake, if she was not sexually attractive, he would not be with her. But he could do much better. He could absolutely do much better. My thanks to everyone for making this a spectacular show. My super chatters, Dara Sumokoti, Beastly Nerd, D-Train Fitness, Red Sings the Blues, Technomage B5, Marsky B, Ralph E, Ice Dragon Kid, Jay Bodie, Xander, John the Great 18, Daniel L, Ed Lattimore, Sheldon Ross, Sentinel Rex, Fred Ward, James Young, Amar Kermani, Chris Rice, C Platinum, Majestic 42, Nixon Talks, Captain Crunch 420, TM Flesh, Mike No-Go Zones. I appreciate all of your super chat, all of your support. Thank you very much for that. My thanks to my callers. Lewis in Miami. No, listen, I got no hate on, and for those of you guys who are hating on Lewis in Miami, I got no hate for the guy. The guy is young. He's got a lot to learn. It is what it is. I was him once. Lewis in Miami, Red Pill Mike, Chris in New Mexico, Gerald in Alberta, Jim Ed, Janik in Hong Kong, Adiley in LA. I apologize for butchering your name. Chris Rice with the $100 cash. I appreciate that. Josh in Orlando, Tyler in North Dakota, Kevin in Houston. By the way, again, congratulations to Kevin in Houston for losing 55 pounds. That is unbelievable. Don Draper, Kevin in Utah, and Only One Carter from way out there in New Bern, North Carolina. Beautiful part of the state, by the way. Thank you all for making this an unforgettable episode. I will see you guys tomorrow at 8:30 Eastern for, let's see, Crypto Oasis. By the way, Bitcoin is up over $47,000. $47,810 is probably going to hit $48,000 by tomorrow. So I am eager to see how much money Charlie and Miguel have made me to this point. Thank you guys very much. and I will see you tomorrow.